Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Radash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, broad, lift up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is the Akim Mahaloya coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. This is something that Apostle Ramlab had went into. Well, he posted this article and a quick little snippet he did yesterday, and it says biometricupdate.com digital ID blueprint for all 50 U.S. states published. No big asks, which is a pretty recent article. Came out last month on the 14th, which is roughly 4.5 weeks ago. Now, when you look up the term biometric, you're gonna look it up, and this is what it's gonna tell us. Give me a second here. Not big metric, biometrics. Hold up. Go back here. See, it says big metric, but it's biometric. But biometric definition, and we know what it means, but this is just for edification purposes, because you got a lot of groups out there like Sons of Thunder, man. You dudes, the Most High is not dealing with y'all, man. All right, like Apostle Tahar, he made the statement earlier. He specified, he said, look, man, they've been in this thing a long time, and a lot of you guys, you adopt the model, you come up with the moniker and your platforms based on the way we teach, because we all have similar teaching styles. But for you guys to come in and say that it's not that it's spiritual, that it's sleep with white women, it's embargo, whatever else madness you guys conjure up out of your witch hats. How the hell can you buy and sell with white women, with embargo? How can you buy and sell with that? So clearly you guys sold out, and a lot of you are just parodying your leaders because your leaders sold out. So you're so under a cult of personality under these men that's betwixt you, to the point that you're repeating the damnable heresies that these guys are conjuring up through their ass, because you don't do no research and you just know that we ain't got it right because your pride, man. And a lot of you are going to be confounded in the day when they make this thing mandatory, because it's coming, and it's coming quick. All right, I can actually see them doing it or getting this system up this year. Now, I speak as a man when I say that, but I won't be surprised, man, because yesterday when I was looking at the news, they was talking about they don't know if they're going to raise the debt ceiling again. And the Republicans, a handful of them is just talking about default, which, they've said it before. And when push comes to shove, they always raise the debt ceiling. But I don't think they can go any much higher, okay? Because on paper, we're at a $31 trillion deficit, and honestly speaking, it's likely that they can default on it. The economy goes into a frenzy, and before you know it, they come up with this new system. But they're trying to figure out how to implement this thing with this less chaos as possible. But the whole system is built on order out of chaos, man. So Esau, man, he's getting ready to come down with great wrath that you Israelite camps out there, you playing games with this because you don't believe in what you're saying. You're just Israelites because it's cute right now. But when shit get real, the persecution it comes to be jailed for what you believed in and be persecuted and labeled the off-scourging, actually walking the proverbial steps of Yahweh Shai himself. That's when you guys are going to start to freak out. You're going to start to mad up. Oh, well, nah, man, we were just doing what we was told. We didn't really believe in that thing. A lot of you dudes, man, you're going to be found out. All right, but give me 1 second. Let me pull around the corner, man, because I'm in the Edomite neighborhood. They see a vehicle sitting for too long, then they get to complaining about it. All right, I'm out here working, and they're still calling cops on you. Well, that guy was just sitting there in that truck for 30 minutes. Looked like he was talking on the phone. He should be arrested for trespassing. You know how these devils do, man. This is what they do. But give me 1 second, brothers. Let me pull up a little bit. Get off the block and go on the side street. That way can't nobody say a damn thing. Esau sweeping down, they got these little neighborhood community watches. They think they own these blocks when in fact that this is city property. It's public accessible. As long as you ain't vandalizing anybody's property. But anyway, it says what biometric means. It says for a quick biometrics definition, biometrics are biological measurements or physical characteristics that can be used to identify individuals. Oh, you see that? So they can go from, then they got different forms of this now. They can scan your eyes, they can scan your they can scan what you call the retina scans. They can get DNA. Okay, they can do a mouth oral swab. You know, they can get your specimens, you know, your feces or your sperm, you know. But ultimately, they got the systems now, since they linked everybody up to this database, to the point you can walk in a store like Amazon Smart, and I guarantee you that those cameras that they got in that place, I'm pretty sure they can determine who's who. You know, like in the newer movies like what's it's called, Altered Carbon, which deals with basically conscious swaps. Came out a few years ago, back in 2018. It's a pretty good series on Netflix. You got a movie called Upgrade. You got a new movie called Implanted. You know, those particular movies, Minority Report, they show you the things of biometrics. They know who they are. They know who you are. And one movie, Demolition Man, one of my all-time favorite movies, or one of my favorites, Demolition Man, showed you that back in 1993 when they coded you, like John Spartan, the character played by Sylvester Stallone. Basically, when he was coded coming out of the freezer, so to speak. I think it's like cryostasis or some shit like that. Can't really pronounce it, but basically when he came out of there, they coded him. They linked him up to the system. So when every time he used some type of obscene or obscenity, a so-called cuss word, then he was fined a particular citation, and they mentioned him by name and everything because he was coded. Now Simon Phoenix, on the other hand, Wesley Snipes, he wasn't coded. So when he was released, he was basically released undetectable into the system, so he couldn't be tracked. You know, so that's biometrics. But it says, or physical characteristics that can be used to identify individuals. For example, fingerprint mapping, facial recognition, and retina scans are all form of biometric technology, but these are just the most recognized options, okay? So meaning that they can put something in you, okay? Put a computer chip in you and that can read you. Because biometrics is basically linking you up to computers, like your phone. You know how you able to unlock your phone because you set up your credentials, your biometrics. It has you to take a picture. It uploads your face into the algorithm. Then the algorithm disperses among other algorithms, and that's how you get in your phone. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you upload it in these databases. Same thing with the social media platforms. The minute you upload your pictures, or even if you're doing it through your smartphone, you better believe that the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, they all have our photos based on this device here. Because what they don't tell you, because you don't read the bold print, when you operate or when you activate these smartphones, or when you're downloading these apps, you're basically giving them permission to track your information. That's what they don't. I mean, it tells you that, but you still need it in order to operate it. Same thing with an iPhone. In order for you to operate this, you have to sign into your email, man. You know, you got to set up your profile and all this other stuff. Your phone number is attached, and the list goes on. So for you guys out there that's saying that the MOTB is not what we said it is, it's because you guys are fucking off, man. All right, and the Spirit of the Lord is not dealing with you, and that's just what it boils down to. You reprobate camps, you t-shirt French jakes with the long hair, you dudes are not gonna. I don't see you guys making it through this time to come. At least not all of you. And some of you may get it together and repent and get your minds back on track, but I see very far in between, man, or very few in between. I say that because a lot of you gonna get frightened, you're gonna get afraid, and when that time come, you're gonna be conflicted as to what it is, and you're not built up enough to resist it because you was teaching against it. So the Lord is not gonna spare you from the hour of temptation, man. All right. So it says digital ID blueprint for all 50 U.S. states published. No big asks. So they have a paradigm, or they have a moniker for all 50 states on how they're gonna link people up to this database. And it's all coming to head. The Lord is revealing it. The Lord is giving us the blueprint, man. He's showing us. Because then the scriptures in Amos say that the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, would do nothing but he revealeth his secrets into the servants, the prophets. And the Lord is showing us through these articles, man, through these movies, through the apostles and elders, through the brothers on down. Okay, video games, the technology itself. The Lord is like, how you people are blind to this? I'm basically throwing it at you and breaking it down to you. You know, just when when the apostles broke down the MOTB for the first time when I came into the truth years ago, I instantly clicked with it and I received it. And it wasn't even in me, it was the Spirit that allowed me to receive it because it made sense. I was like, damn, that makes sense. And I already heard about the MOTB at that time, that they wanted to code everybody. So at that time, I was like, we just waiting on people to bring it out. And in my mindset, I'm like, I wasn't going to accept it anyway because I knew through the Spirit that Revelation 13:16 was talking about something physical they was going to put in you. They was talking about it then. All right. But it says a crowd of major corporations doing business in the United States is encouraging state governments to enact 6 policies considered by industry insiders vital to establishing a national secure digital ID regime. Now, a while ago here in Missouri, they were supposed to release what they called the Real ID. It was called the Real ID 2020. I remember back in 2017, they was talking about it was supposed to be implemented a year later. Then they postponed it to like 2020. Then that didn't happen. Then, this whole Scandeezy came and offset everything. So they had to push it back, which I think was done by design. Because I believe that they all was on board bringing out this C-HIP at a similar time. They knew, but that was just the test in the fabric and the mindset of people to get them to be desensitized to it. Because once you put something before somebody and you constantly drumming it in them, you have what they call desensitization, or being desensitized. Okay, being desensitized. Like with anything you do, if you do too much of anything, your body becomes desensitized to it, as well as your mind. It means that you're more receptive and that you're prone and numb to the fact. All right, so let's get a precept real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, Sirach 39:1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation there, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and become occupied in prophecies," man. Okay, being occupied. And I know there's a lot of you other camps, you don't prophesy because, for one thing, your leaders, they don't prophesy. Now, yeah, they tell you who Israelites are, they tell you who Edom is, they tell you about the kingdom of heaven, but ultimately, man, they're just out there cursing out the white man, telling them to repent, X, Y, and Z. But you guys, you don't take it up another level. As much as we tell our people to repent and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, we're occupied in breaking down the prophecies. Because a lot of you guys, you won't touch prophecy because you're afraid to, and you don't understand it. Like, you don't understand what this fourth industrial revolution, this technocracy, you don't understand this fourth empire or this fourth kingdom or the fourth beast, which is this Greco-Roman system. You don't really understand that, so therefore you wing it by saying that the MOTB is other than what we say it is. Okay? Because you don't know, and you guys are not the prophets of the Lord. But some of you do see it, some of you do believe it, some of you are watching the videos, getting the breakdowns, but you're not taking it to your leadership, afraid of being ridiculed and ostracized and bullied. So you keeping hush-hush until this thing come to pass. Okay, but if you guys had, and it could be wise for some of you, but if you realize that you're not under bondage to these men, meaning that, we are to be subjected to the leaders and so forth. But if your leader is going off, man, and breaking down the scriptures wrong, then you could depart from that man. Okay, you ain't got to be under mother effer that's breaking down the scriptures wrong, or trying to manipulate your mind into their will. You ain't got to be under nobody like that, man. Like, we got a revolving door policy here. I tell any brother in my camp, I'm like, if you want to leave, that go to the door. Now, of course, we're going to know why you want to leave. We're going to try to keep you, meaning that we're going to try to build you up and keep you among the flock, because, it's safer that way. Because most guys that leave the camps, they end up falling out the truth completely, or become scoffers, then fall out. But if a brother just hell-bent on leaving the camp because he feel that it ain't for him, then he can leave, man. Shit, do us all a favor and get your shit and go. Honestly, because less people, less headaches. And that's just really how I look at it. So we ain't hold nobody against their will here. Like you other groups, like the other men that left these other groups make it seem like, this ain't no Jim Jones show. But it says, and he would keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. Okay, didn't Yahushua speak in parables? Then the disciples say, why thou speakest to them in parables? Because he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. All right. And it says that he would be there also, and he would seek out the secret of grave sentences, and he would be conversant in dark parables, man. All right. And this is a dark parable. The MOTB, the C-HIP. Okay. And we say it that way because it's basically we speak in parabolic so the algorithms don't shut it down. All right. Because, they have a war on this information age, and they have a war on the truth. So it says Better Identity Coalition, which is 27 companies based in the U.S., among them AT&T, Equifax, which makes sense, they deal with credit reports, Equifax, Ubico, never heard of them, and MasterCard, and elsewhere, Fido and Ademia either want to stop worrying about ID fraud or want to profit from preventing it. Okay, and that's the big boogeyman that they're using, identity fraud. Because who's to say with this computerized technology that's being implanted in you, who's to say that that can't be hacked? Because anything that's man-made and anything that's computer-based, it can be hacked, it can be altered, it can become virus-ridden, etc. And the list goes on. So it's not a perfect thing. This is just about ultimate control. That's what it's all about. Because I noticed that a lot of these major cell phone companies are having these alleged data breaches, people getting weird text messages. You know, you're getting calls from unsolicited numbers and so forth. And I believe all that's done through design to push people into one in this system. Because who really wants their identity taken? Especially when your money is being threatened, your credit cards. You know, these people are on edge. They're afraid of losing their substance, man. Because that's the mindset Esau got them in, being afraid all the time. So these data breaches, like T-Mobile sent me something last year stating that your information was part of a data breach. Therefore, we are suing T-Mobile. You're susceptible to getting money or compensated. And they ain't going to give us no money, man. I think the most I can get is $100 in free restoration of services. But yet, this is over a fucking $100 million lawsuit. Why can't I get in on that? Because it's all cap, man. It's all by design. You see? But it says, this is the coalition's second ambitious outing. But in 2018, the year it formed, the group issued a related blueprint for the federal government. There we go. Where progress has been negligible. It says there is hope that more can be accomplished working with state legislators. But the coalition is a project within a non-profit center for cybersecurity and policy law. And that's how they're going to get you under convenience and safety. Oh, well, this is for the betterment. If you don't get it, if you don't accept or opt into this system, then you're the ones that's causing the problem. You're the big T word. You're X, Y, and Z. You are an enemy of the state. You know, we got to keep close tabs on you. All because you don't want to be linked up to this man's slave satanic system, man. Like we tell people, you're going to have to enter this NWO with an oath. And that oath is taking that implantable device in you. That's the ultimate oath you got to take. Meaning that Esau owns you now. He's patenting you from the Most High. And the Most High has no need for you. Okay? And we're going to get that in Revelation 14. It says, but the first members, Salakia, of the coalition are encouraging states to make their motor vehicle license agencies the core buildings and then maintaining systems that interoperate with other state agencies and governments beyond their own borders. Remember when I stated the Real ID 2020? It was going to be required for you to have a driver's license or ID in real time in order for you to board a plane. Okay? And I believe through those particular Real IDs, I'm believing that they have some type of device in those cards, man, that can track you to some degree. That's what I believe, because why it be called Real ID, real time, right? Because it looked just like a typical ID. But why do we need to change over and have a particular stamp or a seal on it if it has the same information as the other? Because your biometrics are being uploaded into that, man. Okay? But it says these agencies, for the most part, are already central to each state, identifying processes, moderating, and learning curves. The vital records and bureaus should be updated according to coalition members, having them create attribute validation services. The vital records include birth, marriage, and death databases, so they're trying to merge everything as a collective. All right. It says the state officials have to overcome fear, uncertainty, and the doubt of ID innovations that can get the most resonance in digital ID programs like mobile driver's license, which they took a right and made it a privilege, man. So if you don't opt into this system as far as this Real ID nonsense, then you ain't gonna be able to operate your vehicle. You're gonna get fined, and they're gonna come and confiscate your vehicle. And in the state of Missouri, they'll lock you up for getting too many traffic tickets, man, which is unheard of. In Chicago, they didn't do that. Okay, and I've looked at the city website a while back, and I've seen people in debt, $40,000-$50,000 of parking tickets, and the most they would do is put a boot on your car, man. You know, and Jake figured out how to take the boot off. But here, had 2 traffic tickets, man, and you late, they'll lock you up. They'll hold you in contempt court, and then you gotta pay to get out of jail. Show you how wicked this system is, man. You know, but you, Jakes, you want to stay here, and that's what I'm getting from all these other groups. They don't want to let go of their fame. They don't want to let go of their notable or their notoriety, so to speak, their nobility that they got among the congregations, because money is involved, women is involved, and they don't have faith in the kingdom. They lost faith. You know, like the scriptures say, woe to you that loses faith, he should not be defended. So a lot of you guys, you're holding on to this beast system, the Titanic, because you lost faith, man. And this is your only hope of being important in another person's eyes, which is totally stupidity, man. It's stupid. The hell with these people think, man. We don't give it to them. The hell with them. They're going to be destroyed anyway. You see? And it says, policymakers should also make sure digital ID services meet industry and government standards. But governmental leaders have ensured that programs created to support marginalized populations get the same attention as the driver's license effort. Not only is it the right and probably legal thing to do, which is not legal, that's totally unconstitutional. Every step that gets a state closer to 100% participation with digital ID is important. It says they have to make strong authentication a guiding star for programs, and multi-factor authentication is keystone of any digital ID scheme. Why they call it a scheme? All right. It says in 6, do no harm. It is as critical here to hold that as motto as it is on a surgical room. Some mistakes and avoidable problems will have lifelong impact. So look up scheme. Definition of scheme means, man. All right. Let's look at that up. They call it a scheme, man. It says a scheme, which means a plot, a plan, project, plan of action, strategy, strategism, game plan, enterprise, venture, plot, intrigue, conspiracy, secret plan. Okay. A hatch to conspire to take part in a conspiracy, intrigue, play, land, machinate, cabal. And we know what a cabal is. The global cabal, the elites, okay, with the witches and warlocks. So they're telling you right about what they want to do to people and the consequences for taking that C-hip. So matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Let me get look up the devices. We know Job 5 and 12 is going into the New World Order. Yep, Psalms 37. Yep, Psalms 37 and 7. It says, rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him, and fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way, because of the men who bring wicked devices to pass. This is a wicked device that Esau was conjuring up. And it may seem like he's going to win. It looked like he's winning because he had all the motions in play. He got all the plans. He got the books. He's had it on in the secret books for a long time. It's just a matter of implementing this particular play so they can do what they got to do, man. And it seemed like they're going to get this off. But the Lord said here, rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. So the only thing we got to do is keep teaching brothers and have faith that the Lord is going to get us through. Because remember, we passed the first test, which was the shot of whiskey, you know. That these people are drunk off of, still drunk to this day. I mean, these people hung up off them shots of tequila, man. You know, they still hung over, they still slumbering, you know, stumbling and so forth. But hey, I'm like, we ain't drinking that, you know, we ain't dealing with that. And look at us, we're perfectly fine. Yeah, we have our health issues here and there for being around people that's totally all messed up. But outside of that, brothers, you know, we're good. You know, our health is still here. Our strength is here. We're still pushing the word. You know, but the majority of you people are all sickly. And you getting ready to drop any day. All right? Last precept here. We got to get to work. Revelation 14. And I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, and I looked, and lo, the Lamb stood on Mount Zion. And with him having 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads, man. It says written in their foreheads, meaning the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, because there's a testimony that through the blood of the Lamb that we're going to overcome this fourth beast. Through the testimony, we got the victory. Okay, it ain't nothing physical that we've done. We ain't go to government buildings and start snatching up Edomite congressmen and beating the hell out of them. No, man. Okay, the spiritual power is coming nonetheless, but we ain't going to overcome through physical means, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and it says, and I heard a voice from heaven as with the voice of many waters, which was Yahweh Shai, as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their hearts, because the scriptures say that Yahweh Shai has the voice of many waters, meaning that he had a very deep and stern voice. Okay, if Yahweh Shai was speaking, you probably can hear him from miles up the road, because that's how loud his voice was, very deep. Okay, it says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth, which proved that they were men. Okay, they say, well, those are angels. Well, they are angels, but they're men. Okay, they're the hopeful elect, the prophets. Lord, well, I'm one of these men. All right, and you got the 1/3 multitude too that's gonna make it out of this, but this is focusing on the 144, which are the teachers, the prophets, the apostles, and the ones that endured through the common tribulation we're getting ready to swiftly enter. And it says, and these are which were not defiled with women, which is strange philosophies, for they are virgins. Doesn't mean you ain't take a woman and pop them, okay, as some people tell you. Well, that mean 144 gonna be virgins. No, man, these ain't gonna be celibate men that sit up here with hearts on. No, okay, these men very well have families, wives, children, okay, that's gonna enter to the kingdom with them. This is talking about doctrine, philosophies, man, because wisdom is referred to as a woman. Okay, you got good wisdom and you got bad wisdom. But it says, these are which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goes, and these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits of the Most High unto the Lamb, which shows mean that there were men. All right. It says, in that mouth was found no guile. All the C-hip is sleeping with a white woman. It's an embargo. All right. It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing with your wisdom and knowledge and understanding and your mind and what you do with your right hand. All that psychobabble, when we clearly just proved that it was a physical thing, man. You can go into the word charagma and charax itself and prove this is a physical implantation. It's not that hard, man. Okay, but like I said, a lot of you guys are willingly ignorant. You willingly blind. It says being willingly ignorant of the Most High's righteousness, man. All right. And it says, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, saying an everlasting gospel to preach it to them that dwell on the earth in every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, going into the Israelite foreigners, so to speak. And it says, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And I followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, and we're coming into that time, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying, with the loud voice, of any man worship the beast in his image and receiveth his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same should drink of the wine of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture, into the cup of his indignation, and he should be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, man. Okay, so that's the point. If you take that C-hip, you out of here. It ain't nothing that the Lord can do with you. So you other camps, you're in dangerous waters because you're teaching against it. Oh, it's not a physical mark. You're going to say that because a lot of you probably already got it, man. You know, a lot of you Israelite camps, that's for clout. You know, a lot of you want to start your Hellcats up and start your Hellcats up, and you want to be pretty for these women. But hey, it's a time and place to be so-called sexy. You're going to be sexy in the kingdom. All right, which I'm not saying brothers shouldn't take care of themselves, but hey, it's not about that. All right, we're going to have all the glory and the riches and the family and the women. We're going to have all that in the kingdom of heaven, man. But on this side, we got to teach and teach the right doctrine. All right, so with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash. And with that, Shalom and Abba Ball.